Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the fishing room. It's raining, it's nasty outside, but I managed to make it out on Lake Pan a couple days this past week. This video is from this past Tuesday, today's Sunday. As you can see, we're sight fishing. Finally, this is my favorite time of year. A lot of people call me a spawn soldier, and I could really care less. If you're not gonna go out and catch fish that are sight fishable, then whatever, do you, my friend. But like I said, yeah, we're sight fishing. The water's clear, as you can see in the video. I'm rolling up on some of them. I'm staying a distance from some of them. You're gonna notice in the video I do some things, like at the end on the big girl, I reposition the boat a couple times until she finally, went for me. I think the final time I was pretty much in the shadow, out of the way, and I think she thought that I was gone. But that wasn't the case. I also switched up baits at the end, which was kind of weird how every other fish went on a certain bait, but she only wanted something else. However, I'm going to get into some baits that I always keep on the boat during this time of year, and I'm going to explain some of the things that you should do with these baits and where you should throw them. Obviously, during this time of year, you should be up shallow looking around, or if you have forward-facing sonar and all the fancy stuff, go out deep, find some shell bars. You might find some bed deep too. I don't care what anybody says, fish bed deep too. Those are some of the fish that supply your lakes and keep it going. Studies have shown that most fish that spawn shallow, a lot of those probably don't survive. So like I said, let's get into some of these baits. Obviously, I'm going to start out with the one you guys see me throwing the most. That is a Rapala floater. This is the silver black color. I like the smelt color too. Sometimes I will throw the 3 treble hook size. I did upgrade the size of the hooks. We're down here in Florida, and the hooks that come on there are tiny, I guess. It doesn't really mess with the action for me. I also add a little split ring up there at the top. That also gives it that little more side to side, do your thing kind of action. But like I said, I upgrade the size of the hooks because the fish are bigger down here, and you never know. Like I said, I throw this on the spawning flats, and when I'm going in between mat to mat, or on a weed edge, or on a seawall, it's a very good bait to search with, and it's a very good bait to find, groups of fish. When you catch one, drop your power pole, throw that one back, and make sure you throw this back or throw a different bait back. You're liable to catch another one. You'll see in the video I did throw it around a little bit. I'm only going to include one clip in it. But like I said, jerkbait is probably one of the best baits you could throw year-round in the state of Florida. A lot of guys don't like to throw it because of all the weeds, but if you ask me, ripping it through the eelgrass and over the top of high drill is killer. I mean, when that bait pauses and starts to float up to the top, that's it. And you got to do the Rapala floater or pretty much any other floating jerkbait, but I recommend a floater because we live in Florida and you're going to be throwing it in shallow water most of the time. Another bait I go around searching with in the spawning areas is a chatterbait. These chatterbaits make a lot of noise and make a lot of vibration, and when this thing is cruising through the flat and coming up on beds and things like that, the big fish, they just seem to go for the chatterbait. There's a lot of vibration, there's a lot of noise. It's very disturbing. They don't like that when they're in their spawn phase. I choose the bluegill color with a ghost shad on the back, which is kind of blue, kind of clear, but that adds a little bluegill color. Throwing this through there and throwing the jerkbait through there, there's kind of a purpose for it. In the video, I don't know if you'll really be able to see it. I didn't explain much in the video, but I'll explain it now. It's just like everywhere else in nature. For instance, turkeys, birds, all sorts of stuff. I mean, anything in nature is going to compete for the female's attention, and it's the same thing with bass. In these areas, in these spawning flats and areas, you're going to have groups of males, sometimes 10, 15, 20 at a time. I saw 20 at a time out there circling around one female trying to get her bite, or trying to get her to, bed up or whatever. But like I said, it's everywhere in nature. So you're going to run into a lot of males and you're going to run into a lot of females. But what I have come to notice is most of these males, they're not really focused on eating. The females are the ones focused on eating. And when you're throwing that chatterbait or you're ripping that jerkbait through there, you might luck up and get one of them females to eat. They are focused on spawning, but they're focused on eating too. They got to get fat, they got to get ready, they got to make their eggs, they got to have the protein, they got to have all the nutrients to do that. So throwing those 2 moving baits through there is a great option. Most of your smaller fish aren't going to pay attention to it. I've seen tournaments catching 5, 6, 7, 8 pound bass every single time through these spawning flats on those 2 lures. Another thing that I like to throw is the Gamer Fat Ace. That is black and blue, the blue tail color. I also like the JB Blue. But I'll take this on a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce weight, and I'll flip the edges of the Kissimmee grass or flip it in some pads and whatever. During this time of year, like I said, you want to focus on hard bottom. Anywhere you find Kissimmee grass, pads, cattails, anything of that sort, there's going to be hard bottom. That stuff needs hard bottom to grow. It needs sand, not so much mud or muck. You're not going to find those in muddy or mucky areas. You might find them in marshes, but I guarantee you there's lime rock present, which is hard. Like I said, you're going to take that bait, you're going to flip it on the edge of the Kissimmee grass. You're going to focus on catching those fish that are on their way up. They're coming up to spawn. They haven't quite made it up. And that's a killer bait to go with. You know, anything with a moving tail is also a good bait to go with, but I prefer, you know, a classic old Senko or a Fat Ace. Another thing you want to do and you really want to focus on when the fish are spawning and you're looking for hard area is the adjacent mats and things around there that's floating. These big girls, what they'll do is they'll spawn and they'll hang out around for a while, either to protect fry or protect the bed. But when they see you, a lot of times they'll take off. And you don't have to get very close to them considering all the pressure we have around here, which is absolutely nuts. I mean, I have fish that I see personally, you know, 30, 40 yards away. I can see them on the bed, and I can't get close enough. They've seen so many boats and lures come through there, I can't get close enough. And that's why you'll see in the video where I cast a lot, and that's why a lot of the times, and during this time in post-spawn, I punch the mats because those fish tend to go up under the adjacent cover, which is the floating mats, your hyacinth, pennywort, water lettuce, things like that. So if you have hard edges, like in the Lake Pan previous video, I explained, hey, look, these are cattails, this is a hard edge. If you have that hard edge and there's mats near it, flip them. Don't overlook those mats. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be holding a fish, and it could be holding a big one. The 2 baits I like to throw, you already know, is a Gambler Why Not. This is black and blue, the blue tail. I'm going to get into a little bit on the Why Not real quick. Why Not me have a history. I've been throwing the Why Not for about 10 years. It's probably the most functional, easy to flip, not make a mess on you all the time, punching bait all around that you can use pretty much year round and get bites. It's cylinder, it's long enough, it's not short enough, and it's not too big either. It's all in the middle. It's just a complete mixture of everything. These come apart, you know, they make plenty of movement and vibration under the water. Like I said, man, this bait, it'll go through a mat with a 1.5 ounce weight, where I take a normal beaver style bait that's the same size, 4.5 inches, and I'll need a 2 ounce to get it through, or a 2 1/4. This will slide through with a 1.5, and that's because of its shape and its cylinder. And when it gets under there and you got, you know, you're holding it still, all these appendages are moving and so forth. Granted, most of your beaver baits do have appendages. Some have them a lot more than others. Like I said, this Why Not, when you're sitting out there flipping all day long, like I like to do, having a bait that gets hung up in the mats is the worst thing in the world, and the Why Not avoids that. I mean, just look at the shape of it and it explains itself. Another bait I like to flip in there is a BB cricket. This is a very versatile bait as well. You can throw it on the back of your jig head, so forth. You can throw it on the bed. I've caught them off beds with this bait numerous times. Even big girls, 8, 9 pounds, will pick this little tiny thing up. They like to pick it up under the mats too. Punching it's my favorite way to go with it. I keep it on a 1 1/4 or 1.5. I won't go bigger than that. If I can't get it through a mat with a 1.5, then that mat is probably solid. This bait is little, it's cylinder, and it goes through just about anything, which is a very key thing to have this time of year, because these bass, I mean, they're spawning, they're picky, they're, you know, finicky. Some of them get lockjaw, they don't want to do nothing, and this is a perfect bait for that. It's small in size, it's a small meal, it's quick, it's agitating when it comes down. These little legs, they move around. I mean, Gambler knew what they were doing with the BB cricket, and I can't explain it or why it works. Let's get into the bed baits. When I'm fishing a bed, I've always thrown a lizard. I know it sounds weird, but the appendages, the cylinder, you know, just the slenderness of the lizard, I guess, I don't know. I've always thrown a lizard, and I've always been able to pick off bass, especially giants. We have PBs that were caught on lizards, believe it or not. But there's a reason I'm saying that. I'm not a Googan bait guy. I don't like Googan baits. Never have, never will. I don't know why I picked this up, but Scott Martin, dude, this thing, for some reason, when this comes sliding across that bed, I think it's all the appendages and the vibration it gives off. They cannot handle it. And I picked off so many males instantly with this bait versus a lizard, which was mind-blowing. I did get that big female at the end off of a lizard. Most of my big girls do come off of a lizard. My favorite colors are chartreuse pepper, which is if the water gets a little darker and I need to see a little bit, I pick up the chartreuse pepper. But if the water's clear and I can see plain as day, or even if it's kind of green like the Harris chain tends to be, I always throw the watermelon red. You'll be able to see that red fleck. You'll be able to feel the vibrations and the ticks and the picks and when they pick it up. I think that pretty much covers it for what we do bed fishing or sight fishing, whatever you want to call it. I prefer sight fishing so we don't cause arguments and bring it out of character, because really we're just catching fish. But like I said in the video, clear water, hard bottom, point. Most of your points are going to be hard bottom on the Harris chain. If you can find those areas, flip that grass. Always look down, pay attention, look for the holes in the grass, look for the cattails, and you should be successful this sight fishing year. That's about all I can tell you guys as far as, you know, the baits to use and how to find them. If your lake does not have hard bottom, chances are it might not have bass in it. It may or it might not, I don't know, but bass need hard bottom and clear water to survive. So I'm going to conclude this little introduction and my little talk session. I'm sorry I talked at you guys for so long, but I just wanted to throw some baits at you so you got an idea of what you're seeing in these videos. I know I don't talk a lot and I don't like to, but I'm out there fishing. I don't see a point in me talking to you guys. You guys are watching me catch the fish. That's what you click on the video for. You don't click on the video to, you know, hear me talk. You want to see what I caught the fish on, where I caught it, and watch me catch it. So hope y'all enjoy this video, man. Tight lines, baby.
Choke that frog, son. Go.
Oh, I just bump flipped the 10-pounder, baby! I just bump flipped the 10-pounder! Woo! Hey! That was on the why not. Why not? That's a good one. Well guys, we're out here on Lake Pan. I'm doing some flipping. A cold front just came through. Ain't really much moving, so thinking whatever's going to happen today is probably going to come on a punch rod. Flipping around the why not. You know what time it is. So. Do what now? Yeah, I got a About a 4-pound male and an 8-pound female that keeps coming around in a circle. I gotta get him out of there first. If I can get him out of there, she'll sit still, but can't get him out of there. There he goes. Yeah, I got him that time. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a few that are swimming around right here trying to get at that female, and this is the one that's holding on to the bed. He's peeing everywhere. Oh, I can't breathe. There she goes, baby. That's a 7. That's a 7.